What's up, guys? Mike here again, down in the dungeon. And it seems like it's been a minute. It seems like it's been a minute since I made a video. I've been very busy. You know, we just had a baby. My business has been busy. Like, I've just been busy. I've been having to go to the chiropractor, which that's a weird thing for me to say. So I went to this chiropractor because my wife wanted me to try it out. I train jujitsu and I've been working out forever, like since I was like probably 15 or something. And I run, you know, like I stay very, very active. And I'm just in pain, a lot of pain. And I thought I had sciatica because I had a lot of pain in my lower back and going down my leg and stuff. And I had tried, you know, I had tried some rehab stuff on my own, some stretches and things, and it would work temporarily. And you know, obviously, you know, I was having to take some pain meds, especially at night before I went to sleep, to help me sleep. But I'm not a pain med guy. You know, I don't like taking pain meds. They're not good for you. Physiologically, they're not good for you. And so my wife convinced me to go to the chiropractor. This was months ago, and we went to one, and it was a very like woo-woo kind of experience where this lady was like, she's like feeling your aura and shit, right? And so we did that. I did that like twice because they had a deal where you could go twice for a certain amount of money or something. And it did seem, at first I was like, okay, I was like, that may have helped a little bit. I went into it very like skeptical, and I'm like, all right, I'm really going to give this a fair shake. So the first day and everything, I thought, yeah, okay, like that seemed to help a little bit. And then went back again, and I just got to thinking, I was like, you know what? I just don't think she's really doing anything. Like, this doesn't really make sense, you know? And then went forever without going back, obviously. And then talked to the doctor about it and different things. And that's actually after I went to the chiropractor. I tried all these different rehab stretches and stuff. And then the pain just continued to be there. You know, it didn't necessarily get worse, but it was just there. And it didn't limit me. Like, I still go for runs, still work out and stuff, but it's just always there. And went to a different chiropractor, so they like a not at all woo-woo chiropractor. And dude like took x-rays and everything and showed me like where all the things that are fucked up inside my body. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. And then he started working on me, and it's been a couple weeks where I've had to go like every other day. And but yeah, I think it's actually doing something. I'm in a lot less pain than I was. So anyway, I've been very busy lately, so I haven't been able to make videos. And as you know, like, I want to do another channel talking about, well, I don't want to give away what I'm talking about, but another channel on, you know, a different subject. This channel is sort of like my vlog, in a way, like things that are going on, things that I'm inspired to talk about. And the other one's going to be more like focused. And I'm like, you know, I want to make this other channel like a little bit more formal, right? So a little bit more formal, so I can try to promote the channel and try to get the channel to grow. And then I keep putting it off and keep putting it off and keep putting it off because I got the kids. I'm like, all right, I got to get the kids to sleep at night. And then, you know, at night, then maybe I can do it at night, right? Because I want it to be a little bit longer form. And I'm like, well, look, by the time I get to the kids to sleep and me and the wife sit down to eat dinner or whatever we're gonna do, it's like, I ain't making no fucking YouTube videos, right? So I'm like, look, I've gotta just fucking do it no matter the setting. You know, I wanted like a different background, you know, to make it a little bit more formal, maybe different clothes, maybe actually try to make myself look good for once. But if I don't, I know me, and if I don't just fucking do it, then I'm probably just gonna keep putting it off. So what I'm going to do in this video is kind of give you a little bit of a preview of what that other channel may sound like. And eventually, who knows, like if the other channel happens to take off, then maybe I do change the background. Maybe I do set a time, aside every day or once a week or whatever it is to actually do something. But right now, it's almost like I got to jump in the pool or I'm just not going to get fucking wet. So first off, I want to say that I've talked a lot about Christianity on this particular channel on these vlogs, and I don't want this vlog to be about Christianity or bashing Christianity or anything like that. A lot of times this is just stuff that I've seen maybe, or that has inspired me. I didn't have a Sunday special this past week because I was too fucking busy. I think I was actually out of town or something. I don't remember. Oh, yeah. I went on a backpacking trip. So, I just didn't have one, whatever. It is what it is. And I don't want this channel to just be bashing Christianity, okay? So there'll be different content. But I want to switch over and kind of give you a preview of what the other channel is going to be like. So imagine that I'm not here, and now I'm here, okay? So if you look objectively, okay, and at the current situation in the world, objectively, okay, now you're gonna have a little bit of a skew towards pessimism or optimism, right? Just based on your personality. But let's look at it objectively, and also keep in mind that I'm actually an optimistic type person, okay? Despite my optimism, if I look at the world objectively, especially the financial situation in the United States, in the US, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good at all. It looks like we are, we've been bad babies, and we have spent way more money than we can make. Think about if it's your own household. The US is headed for bankruptcy, baby. And there's only, the only thing that might get us out of it is some kind of war, which nobody wants. Nobody wants that. Well, I don't want to get too political. I don't want a war. I'm completely anti-war, okay? Be war if you want to be war, pro-war, whatever. I don't care. But if you look at the situation objectively and you know some about the monetary system and the Fed and all that, you can see that, even if they start building factories in this country, that it's going to take a long time for that to even get up and running, and that we're really walking the knife edge here, especially with, the other countries buying debt, other countries. One of the ways that the U.S. makes money is by other countries loaning us money. Basically, they give us money, and then we have to pay them the money back. Well, if we are needing other countries to continue to loan us money, and they decide they don't want to, then you're looking at a situation where there's only a few options, right? They can raise taxes. They can raise taxes on the citizens. That's a way that they can generate money. They can print money, or like I said, they can borrow money. Okay, so let's eliminate the borrowed money. So then that leaves only two other options, which is raising taxes, which they just passed a big bill to lower taxes. So don't see that really coming, but not in this administration, and nor do most people want that. I don't want to pay more in taxes, and I doubt that you do either. So the only other way is to print money. The problem with printing money is that it increases inflation, which just makes everything more expensive. So instead of going to McDonald's and getting a burger for $1.99, now the burger costs $2.99 or $3.99 or whatever it is, okay? Because they call it sort of the silent tax. If there's more money in circulation, then the value of the money is less. Okay, so we know that, right? We know that the monetary situation in this country is going down. I think I would like to see this situation resolved. I feel like most people would like to see the situation resolved resolved. But you know, if we're looking at it now and we look at the track record of our politicians in Washington, whether red or blue, doesn't matter, is that we are continually sliding more and more towards default. And you know, and that could mean what happens when we default? Well, it could mean a whole lot of different things, but I don't want to get too far down that rabbit hole because we're not really there yet. So, but what can we do as fathers, as men, as you know, leaders of our families, or leaders in the community, or you know, just single men? How can you protect yourself from things like that? Well, one of the things that you can do is you can buy more tangible assets. Okay, so you can buy, and I'm not talking from like some sort of, you know, doomsday prepper type scenario. I'm talking about you know, what you can do in real life. Okay, so one of the things that you can do is you can buy, like I said, tangible assets like precious metals is one thing that you can do. So I personally have some investment in precious metals, in physical metals, and I have them safe, you know, in a place, you know, in a protected place. But I do have some physical, actual metal. And so what happens is that when you buy it, so the price of these metals, whether it be gold or silver or whatever, the price constantly changes. It changes. I mean, it changes like the stock market changes. It changes, you know, every minute of every day. But what happens is when you buy precious metals with cash, you're locking in that cash amount, basically. So you're turning, say if you've got $100 and you buy $100 worth of silver. Well, that silver, you've sort of locked in that price. Does that make sense? So even if there's inflation, the silver is still going to be worth, well, it's probably going to be worth more if the dollar goes down, but the silver is still going to maintain its value. Does that make sense? It's sort of like taking your pretend money, say your money in the bank account that you don't see, and you're turning it into actual physical money. Okay? And, you know, the metals that I have bought have done nothing but go up in value. They haven't dropped. I don't see them dropping. You know, I just don't. The more the dollar loses value, the more these precious metals go up in value. Okay, you can almost watch. I've got some, I invest in the stock market. Like I said, I'm an optimist. I don't want to see the US go into default. I don't want to see the markets crash. I don't want to see any of that stuff happen. And I'm strongly, you know, invested in the stock market because, like I said, I'm an optimist. And I think that you should diversify as much as possible. You shouldn't only own precious metals. Like you're not going to get wealthy by owning precious metals. But you know, you should have some, right? And so I've got some physical, actual, and I've also got some investments in gold, and also, you know, obviously in the stock market. And you can almost see you can almost see it like in real time, where if the stock market is up, it's almost like gold will dip. And then if the stock market takes a dive, then the gold goes up. So it's almost like an inverse relationship between the buying power of the dollar and the confidence in the market and things is sort of opposite what gold does. I can like see it on my phone on the app. You can almost see like this inverse relationship between what my gold does and what my other investments do. So that's, you know, that's the importance of having actual physical precious metals. Okay. And I do, you know, I encourage people to invest in the stock market because, like I said, I'm an optimist. I want to see the market go up and up and up. You know, the average return on the market is 10% a year, which is actually kind of low. You know, if you're only getting 10%, then you're probably not really playing an active part in it. You know, if you just play like a minor active part in your own investments, you'll get, you'll see greater than 10% returns. I mean, I think I'm sitting at right now like a 19, almost 20% return on my investments for this year. Now, this year's been wild, right? This is 2025, and we saw the tariffs come in, and the market took a big hit, and the market went back up, and then the market right now, this is late July, and the market's kind of all over the place. By the way, I am not a financial advisor. I'm not your financial advisor. Don't, just take my advice with a grain of salt, but I do think it's important to have some physical assets. So a couple other things that you can have that you might not necessarily think are investments are things like guns. It's weird, right? It's almost weird to hear somebody talk like that, but guns tend to hold their value pretty well. Things like this is a little bit more of a doomsday preppery thing, but like alcohol. I know some people who they're older people and they're kind of doomsday prepperish, right? Like they live out in the middle of nowhere, like that kind of stuff. They've got, they've got a section of their basement that's closed off with all these like food stores and ammo stores and all this stuff. But their big thing that they have is alcohol. Dude, they have alcohol all over their fucking house, especially in the basement. It's like floor to ceiling, like whiskey and stuff. like damn. And so, that's a definitely like a doomsday preppery type investment that you can have. I remember during COVID, like the guy with the toilet paper, like all the toilet paper was sold out at the store. So if you had a hoard of toilet paper, man, you probably could have sold it for like $5-10 a roll, seriously, like because there was none in the store. Stuff like that, if something ever does happen and people can't get alcohol and you've got a whole basement full of it, man, you'll have a hard time protecting it. But if you can protect it, you've got a good little money store there, right? A little barter or whatever, money. I guess they'd have to give you gold or silver if the economy failed. But anyway, also importance of having gold and silver. I really got into silver probably 2 years ago or something. I really got interested in it, and there's all kinds of different types of silver that you can buy. It's pretty neat, and it's almost like it is, in a way, like it's a monetary thing, right? It's like an investment, but at the same time, like some of these silver coins are like super cool, man, and that like the detail that goes into them and stuff, they're almost like little art pieces. It's kind of neat. And of course there's like junk silver, which is your old quarters and dimes and nickels and stuff like that were made of mostly silver back in, I think, before 1965, stuff like that. And I've got some really old coins that are really cool just because they're old, yeah, so think about things like tangible things that don't lose value quickly. So we can talk about some that do lose value quickly. Things like your vehicles. Your vehicles ain't worth shit. Like, I realize that a lot of people have put a lot of what you would say, they put a lot of stock in their vehicles, whatever it is, their Mercedes or their BMW or their whatever, the Tesla and this kind of thing. And, the way that I think about vehicles is more from an economic standpoint. Like, for example, I think that if you live, say, in a very urban area and you can charge your car at home and you're not traveling a lot, like you're traveling, just a few miles a day or something, like having an electric car is absolutely like, it's like almost like a no-brainer, or an electric bike. Those are really cool as well. Obviously, if you live in a very rural area or you're commuting all the time, it might not be the best idea. But you want to look at things that have value. I'm talking about like things that their value is in their reliability. So there are some car brands, I'm not going to mention anything specific, but there are car brands that are way more reliable than other ones, okay? And so you can look those up. But think about those kind of things as a car can be an investment, but it needs to be something that is going to hold its value. And there are a couple of car brands right now in 25 that really hold their value well, and there are a lot that don't. So think about that. Typically a car is not a good investment. Like I said, things like firearms. Firearms tend to hold their value pretty well. Things like ammo. If anybody's, I don't know that anybody's buying secondhand ammo, off of people, but maybe they are. I know people buy reloads. I don't, because I don't trust them. But that kind of stuff. Some other tangible assets that hold their value well. One is like workout equipment, right? I bought this workout equipment for a specific price a few years ago, and I honestly feel like I could probably get the same price for it right now. I don't know why I couldn't. I know how much, sorry, I got a phone call. I know how much they charge at the store per pound. You know what I mean? Anyway, I want this new channel to be focused on like how we can be prepared without being some, what do you call it? Like sort of anxious prepper, but how we can still engage in life and be prepared for an uncertain future, basically. So that's what it is, and I would love to expound more upon this, in some future episodes, which I hope that I get to do. So, but that's it for today, guys.